Hello everyone and welcome to Daily Game Review number 91. Today we have Scrambler 8Q versus Irico 8Q. Let's go ahead and look at the game. And we see a threat for a mini Chinese and white chooses the pincer in order to stop that from happening. It's reasonable. Stop your opponent's plan. This push. Not a fan of it. Okay, I actually just reviewed a game recently that had this push, so I was double checking it wasn't the same game to make sure I didn't repeat a game. I don't think I did. It would be in the last 10 videos if it did, but I don't think it did. Anyhow, this push is not good. It reduces white's own liberties, and we saw white wanted to push, and that's the reason he played it. However, you can just push directly. So if you want the push, then just push. But locally, the move is actually the knight's move, normally, which threatens to clamp at c7. Or I say clamp, it's not quite a clamp, but it threatens to play here. And black cannot cut because of the Atari. So black just descends down, and it's a good surround and good moyo for white locally. So locally, the move is here. However, white wanted to push from behind, and pushing from behind is usually a bad strategy. But still, that's what white wanted. So if you're going to do it, then do it this way. But there's no reason whatsoever to lower your own liberty. So this is a really bad move. An approach here, reasonable. And a pincer. I don't think it's necessary. In my opinion, I think this is already going to be good for black because white is very open on the bottom, very invadable. Even if white played here, jumped up, it's very invadable and very reducible on the bottom, and black has two very big corners, so I think black has at least 25 points, and white I don't think has 25 points. Maybe you can argue there is, but it's so easy to just deal with this area that I'm of the opinion that this is good for black. However, some people may disagree with me, and that's perfectly reasonable, so I can't tell you for sure that this is bad for white. I cannot tell you that for sure. So I guess black didn't like that idea, so black chose the pincer and stop his opponent from making points. I can see that way of thinking, but let's see how this result actually turns out for him. White chooses the reverse pincer. I'm not a fan of this because then black can just go in and connect, and black has no problems, and white got even less than in the variation I just showed. So white needs to do something. I'm just not sure what. If we play a normal Joseki, play this way, this looks like the wrong direction. So if we play a normal Joseki, it looks like the wrong direction for white. If we something else, we something else. Not sure where to do it. What even if white plays this one, we just play this one. Still wrong direction. So probably not this attach. Maybe a jump. Possible. Then you would go here, and I forget. I'm not too. I need to study the jump more, guys. I'm sorry. I need to study the jump more. And then we can say this. This might be possible. Black's gonna live on the bottom. And black can sabaki here or something. I'm not sure what white's plan is. I'm not sure what white's gonna play here. However, white chose to do this, and this is definitely bad for white. So I think white didn't have a good plan. Black, no reason not to do this. This is just good for you. There's no way to cut this off, so it's just good for you. Normally you almost never Nobi peep. There's no reason to do it because if black wanted to connect or cut you or whatever, you could then peep at that time. However, doing it immediately is kind of unnecessary and bad liberties and bad shape, as well as a bad investment, because now you have to live with the whole thing, and it's going to be very annoying to do. Now, if I were black, I would try to surround, I think, and try to come up with something like this, and probably I could get away with here, even if I wanted to give up the corner. Let's just say I give up the corner. Oh, even actually, I can just do this, so it's not even giving up the corner completely. Do this. Is this good for black or good for white? Because I do have some cuts. What if I ignore that and just fix the cuts? I want to say good for black, but I'm not sure it'll play this perfectly. It kind of looks good for black, but I'm not sure why it's going to be that nice. So white will probably resist something. It looks like it would be complicated, but my thinking here is black has options. So I think white should not give black options. I think white should probably play an attachment on this side and get out. I think getting out is much more important here, and keeping black cut and then trying to counterattack is much more important than just living locally in the corner. I don't like giving my opponent options, and I think letting black have options is might be a costly mistake. All right, so white did jump out, and now I think it's good for white because this white can live immediately at S2, and black can't live immediately, and both players are jumping out, and I think since white can live and black can't, the fight's probably going to be in white's favor. Black tries to live locally, just run away. We all know go to the website for the steps in attack and defense. Step 1 is make a base, which you can't as black, so step 2 is run away. So run away here. This is kind of step 3 to make eye space, but getting surrounded is more valuable for white than just taking the eye space. So if I were white, I would just let you live locally on the inside and take the influence. I think the influence is much more valuable than the few points here. White chooses to do this. A little bit slow, White, surround. Want to surround the weak group. That's a good counterattack as well as a defense. This, I'm not sure it helps you that much. That seems overplay because this group's alive, this group is not, and it's just like asking to be cut. So locally, I think it's an overplay. But with the weak group here, maybe black doesn't have time, so black just jumps. Why is the fix? So hard to say, but I think this shape is asking to be cut. And if I were black, I would want to think about it, but probably can't do it immediately due to the weak group. Maybe I could threaten something over here and then cut. But anyway, I'm looking at the cut, and so don't give your opponent such an easy cut. Perhaps a 1-point jump here, or a knight's move here, actually. I think that's the perfect move, because it's surrounding your opponent while defending yourself, and that's exactly what we need to do. So that's probably the move to play. So both players need to learn the 4 steps in attack and defense. Step 1, make a base. Step 2, run away. Step 3, make eye space. And step 4, play the vital point. Now, what is the difference between step 1, make a base, and step 3, make eye space? Well, a base is efficient, meaning it has some points. Like here, black has eye space, but it's also valuable territory. And here, it is not. So this is step 3, this is step 1. That's the difference. A base is efficient territory, and eye space is not. Therefore, running away is usually more valuable than taking the eye space. That is because your opponent will usually, if the situation is correct, just let you live locally very, very small with like 2 points and get thickness in Sente. That thickness is much more valuable than the few points you will have when you live with just eye space. So surrounding your opponent is a very, very good way to attack, and not getting surrounded is a good defense. So I think both players probably should work on the attack and defense steps. Don't get cut. So this knight's move, there's an easy peep and another surround. So it's very easy for white to attack. The white probably want to attack that way, and don't push black towards your weakness. You want to defend yourself while attacking. Black, don't ignore weak groups. And already I'm going to say that is the biggest thing to learn from this game. Don't ignore your weak groups. I think I say that quite often in the single-digit Q games. Don't ignore your weak groups. Fix yourself first. Attack by surrounding. Defend by not getting surrounded. And that's just the way to go. And when white is attacking here, don't attack and try and get profit here when you're dying. Sometimes just defending yourself is good enough for profit. Living in Sente is good profit. It's also a type of profit. You don't have to get the points here locally. Sometimes the thickness is just good enough. Now you're fine. Even if black lives somehow, you're fine. You get thickness, nothing's weak, nothing's dying, and now you can go play the big move first, and you have control of the center of the board in Sente. So you got something and black didn't, and I think that is good enough for white, and that is good profit, and defending yourself is a good profit. So surrounding your opponent is usually a good way to go. And defend yourself first. You can defend yourself by counterattacking, which is completely reasonable as long as you are defending yourself. Don't try to, for example, surround your opponent and force him to attack you while he's defending himself. That's not a good defense. So defend yourself first and surround your opponent to attack. And this type of move, which is defending while counterattacking, is a good strategy is a very powerful defense. So surrounding your opponent while defending yourself. Anyway, so the attack and defense steps are on my website, so see the link in the description below, and hopefully that will help you out with that. But let's see if there's anything more. White does attack, and black defends, and both players ignore the weak groups again, and we're going to see what happens here. That's strange, trying to make points with thickness. You can go 3. No reason you can't, because you can easily surround. So there's shape here. That's a little bit strange. Black's making a big position. That is Gote, so black you can ignore when white goes here. Don't respond to Gote moves, but I'm still waiting to see who gets to this fight first. White making another weak group when you're not alive here. Just fix your peep, because you stay strong and you can attack with a strong group, but you get cut and white's almost completely alive. For example, what if I threaten to cut here? You want to go here and here, and then so maybe you want to go here and then force me to play this way. Okay, but I sacrifice. Then I can peep and then threaten to come out and come back and attack. So that's a possible idea. That's a rough sketch idea. So white just no be back. White's probably aiming at one of the 2 cuts. Maybe it's also fine. However, I would have blocked this way then. That way, Atari's I can just take and threaten the connection. Here, there's no threaten the connection. There's no connection. Still waiting to see who gets to attack. Oh, so finally white gets to defend this group. White gets to defend this group. Still no attack on this group though. And white got cut. Remember that cut I talked about earlier? So what about something to threaten this group while trying to fix the cut? I don't know. But we can see both players clearly are ignoring weak groups and not attacking and defending properly. So I think the biggest thing to learn from this game is attack and defense. The attack and defense steps, and defend yourself before you leave. Otherwise, it'll come to bite you in the rear later. And defend yourself properly. Make sure it actually does defend. So here, white's trying to defend himself, but he's leaving a cut, which obviously came about later in the game. So defend yourself without getting cut. Defend yourself with a move that actually does defend and won't leave Aji or weakness for you to hurt, that'll hurt you later in the game. Make sure your move does its job. So hopefully you guys found this easy enough to understand. Hopefully you found it helpful. And as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.